What's up, everyone? I'm Andrew Lavender. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. So we've gotten a lot of new subscribers over from the Cletus all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive race. And I noticed in the last video, I've been reading the comments, there were several people that wanted me to give like a more in-depth rundown of the car. And so I'm going to use this video to show you guys the car, how it is now. And so we'll go ahead and start at the front of the car, walk you guys through everything. Okay, so the car itself is a 2003 Mustang GT. I've actually owned this car for 15 years. This was my daily driver for a long time before it became a race car. So it definitely holds a little bit of sentimental value to me. At the front, it does have a fiberglass front clip on it. This is a VFN front clip, and I'm actually working on getting the hood put back on it right now. I'm excited to get that back on there. The car looks really good with the hood, and excited to see how it helps for aero. So it also has, I run billet specialty front wheels, and then I've got TBM brakes all the way around. These TBM brakes are the best brakes that I've ever owned. Really stand behind those. And if you're looking for some good brakes, definitely look at TBMs. You can see it's got some billet TRZ spindles kind of hiding back there. TRZ helped me out with those. Can't thank them enough. Those things took a lot of weight off the front end of the car. For shocks, I run Viking out of the box shocks all the way around, the Crusader series. Nothing special. They've just always worked really well for me. And the engine, as I talked about in the last video, the engine, it's a Gen 3 Coyote. So I used to have a Gen 1 Coyote, which is sitting right over here. That little guy right there served me really well, went very fast, but it had stock sleeves in it, and I was really pushing the limits of what they could handle, so I had to jump to something that's a little bit more stout for how hard we have to run the car. So it's a sleeve Gen 3 block. It's filled with epoxy, so I don't run any water through the block. It has a stock crank in it. It has, I believe, MGP aluminum rods and custom Wiseco pistons from Modular Head Shop. I just run regular Cometic head gaskets for right now. I don't run O-rings or copper head gaskets just yet. But I may end up going to that if I have any issues with coolant pressure. But so far, I've been up to 38 pounds with this one and no issues. The heads are pretty basic. They're just Gen 3 heads that I hand ported myself. And I just put fresh stock valves back in them. I've got some pack valve springs in them. And that's really it. There's nothing else exotic done to the heads. The cams are like some comp stage 2 VCT friendly cams that I found for cheap on the internet. I think I got them for like 800 bucks. So they're not exactly the profile that I would want because they're not very aggressive, but they're also better than stock. And injectors, the car runs on methanol. So I run a 2600cc injector with a pretty high base pressure. I have a mechanical fuel pump, so I'm able to bump the pressure up really high. Sitting on top of the engine, I've got a 1320 Junkie boost proof Boss 302 intake. It's ported and boost proofed. For the price that you can get one of these things for, it's really unbeatable. These flow just as good as almost any billet intake that you can get. I've been very pleased with it. So if you're looking for an intake, definitely look into 1320 Junkie. For turbos, it has a custom turbo kit. I built it myself, did all the welding. It has HPT 6466 billet turbos on it. I'm really starting to get to the limits of what they can handle, but so far they're making the power that I need. I'd love to go up to a 6870. And I may do that here in the future. The engine's riddled with Billet Pro Shop parts. Inside it has all kinds of Billet Pro Shop timing parts, all of that. They really do make some of the best parts for the billet parts for the Coyote. So, and then I do run coolant through the heads. You can kind of see my Davies Craig pump hanging out here in the valley. Pumps water to this little single core Honda radiator, and we put a fan on that between rounds to cool the heads off, and then we just put a vacuum cleaner on the engine to cool the oil off. So It's not real exotic, but it is definitely a pretty stout build. And I'm just starting to kind of lean on it at the Cletus all-wheel drive race. I'm pretty happy with what I saw, so I'm gonna keep leaning on it this year and see what it's capable of. She's not much to look at on the inside. It's I've pulled as much interior out of it as I can for weight. I haven't cut any of the actual metal out of the car, so believe it or not, the car is not very light. It's still fairly heavy, but I've done what I can without really cutting on it too much. Those look like carbon fiber doors, but they're actually some cheap fiberglass ones that I got. They just have like a carbon fiber layer on top of them, so they're not really that nice. But I got a deal on them years ago, and fiberglass doors are a whole lot lighter than the steel doors on these. Team Z, weld in 10-point cage. Nothing real fancy. It's got some Maximum Motorsports old school square subframe connectors underneath. So it's not a real crazy chassis, but I'm able to make it work pretty well. It's got all the usual motion goodies up here. Got the nice MPI steering wheel. For a trans brake button, I run the Outlaw drag trigger. So basically this thing, there's a trigger back here. See if you guys can see that. You just push this up, that engages the trans brake, and there's a trigger right here. You pull that, this engages the trans brake. Got the bump and the parachute launch buttons on the steering wheel, so I don't have to ever take both hands off the wheel. Motion Raceworks operator shifter. The car has a TH400 in it, built by my good friend Cameron Powers here locally to me, and he's always done a great job. And then Grady Farr at Far Out Transmissions has helped a lot too with dump valves and stuff on the transmission, so I do run a dump valve. Pretty critical with the kind of racing we do. Got a Holly Dominator sitting up there with a whole bunch of spaghetti going to it. This is like the third time I've wired the car. This is probably the cleanest that I'll get it. I'm not really the greatest in the world at making everything pretty, but I try to keep it as clean as I could. For the switch panel, I run a Switch Pros panel. You can kind of see it sitting on top of the Dominator right there. And then that box right there is the EGT box. I just haven't actually hooked any of my EGTs up because I'm lazy. Pro 600 hanging out over there. That thing offers plenty of spark. Never have any issues with spark, even when you run rich air fuels on methanol with it. Davis VPS hanging out up there. Really like that thing. And then the Motion Raceworks billet handle with the air launcher on it. So basically, I just click this button. I'm going down the track, and that deal pops off and the parachute deploys. Nothing else too crazy. The car does have a fire suppression system also. Very important in my opinion. Other than that, she's just an old rough Mustang that's been raced on a lot. Nothing special. Really, not much to look at, but it works. All right. Moving back, got the TBMs back here. It's got an 8/8 rear end with 35 spline axles. I've done all the usual, welded the 9-inch ends on it and all of that good stuff. Viking shocks back here as well. And like, you know, the typical aftermarket control arms. It does have stock torque boxes in it. And like the only adjustment point I have for my bars is on the back, on the lower portion of the lower control arm. The rear of the lower control arm is the only spot I can adjust for instant center changes. But works good enough. Eventually I would like to put I have some aftermarket torque boxes from Hammer Concepts and Designs that I want to put on, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I think that kind of covers it for the drivetrain underneath. So I won't bore you guys with looking under there. And then the thing that has gotten me the most attention, hate, love, it's kind of gotten me a lot of things, is the 9 Lives wing back here. This is a dual element wing. Makes a good bit of downforce. And I've had it on the car for about 1.5 years now, almost 2 years. and I really like it. I've gotten a lot of flack for it, especially when I first put it on, because there was very few people running wings. Now you look at the Cletus all-wheel drive race, and every truck out there just about had a wing on it. So it's becoming more common. Probably gonna make it harder for me because people are gonna start running them and seeing the advantages, but there's definitely a learning curve when you throw one of these on your car. So disclaimer, if you're a rear-wheel drive guy and you put one of these on your car, you're gonna have to watch how much weight this thing puts on your car, because we still run weight in the back of the car. And if you're not careful, you will put one of these things on the bumper at the finish line. So I won't tell you what I've done specifically to fix it, because that's up to you guys to figure out, right? But definitely, if you're throwing something like this on your car, disclaimer, make sure you have your front and rear balance good, or else it could end up in a bad day. So just take that for what it is. And then all the way at the back, got the Stroud parachute, and then I run an air launcher on the parachute right here. And then there ain't really nothing crazy to see in the trunk. I run a Waterman 13-gallon minute mechanical pump, 10-gallon fuel cell. I got a trans-cooler hanging out in there too. But that is really it for the rundown. Like I said, it's nothing crazy. It's just some pretty well placed together parts. I'm actually working on some aero for the front right now. I'll put these fender vents. I had these on my old steel fenders, but kind of concerned with putting the hood on the car and air getting up underneath it, and creating a high pressure under the hood, lifting the front end up more. So want to give a few places on the front end for that air to come out, relieve out of there to not create lift on the front end. But I think I hit all the key points on the car. I don't really think I missed anything. No, I think I got it. I think that's everything. That's a rundown on the car. Kind of long ramble on it. So you guys, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching this far. Stay tuned. Hopefully going to test here in a week or so. I'll take you guys along with me, show you what I can. We're getting ready for a race in a few weeks, and I need to verify some tune-ups from last year with the old engine to the new engine. So once we verify those, we'll be ready for that race. I'll be bringing you guys along, hopefully get some GoPros in the car, start recording like we used to. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.